Hello, everyone. Welcome to episode 29 of the FPV podcast. We'll be doing a continuation on our community series. This week, we're going to be talking with the Cincinnati group. I have with me Benny over here, who is one of the leaders in the Cincinnati area, and we're going to get a chance to talk to him about the Cincinnati quad racers. Before we introduce him, Elvin, why don't you go ahead and give us an intro of yourself?
Hey guys, it's me, Elvin Wilson, Mr. Miyagi, Pulse, and Furious FPV are my main two sponsors right now. And everything is looking good. I hope everybody's enjoying this summer.
Awesome. Benny, our guest for this week, go ahead and introduce yourself.
Hi, everyone. Thanks for having me. My name's Benny Blankenship. I'm a member of the Cincinnati Quad Racers group that we've created about a year ago. It's really taken off the last 3 or 4 months. I'm calling right now from our local hobby shop, Hobby Express, and you can see we get all of our quad stuff from, everything we need, which is great to have a local hobby shop that supports the sport.
Definitely. It's really awesome. You actually have a pretty interesting story. You were just telling us a while back. You're actually retired, and this is like the second resurrection of your career now, right?
Well, actually, kind of the third. Yeah, Yeah. I started, I was in finance at P&G for like 21 years and got burnt out. And so I ended up taking a package to retire early at around 42, which was awesome.
That is awesome.
Great company to work for. So when I got out of that, I started a venture capital firm, which I still have, but it's kind of on the back burner a little bit. I don't do a whole lot with it. And I just started getting into the hobby. I never was in RC. That's the other thing, the beautiful thing about this, and you guys can attest, it's like, the community's so great.
It is.
And I wasn't involved in any of the RC stuff. So I tell people, a lot of people come up and ask me, do you have to have knowledge in other RC or fly fixed wings or Heelys or all that stuff to really get a hang of this? And the answer is no, because I had no experience like that. So I came right into quadcopters, more on the aerial side, the Phantoms and the Uniques and stuff. And then I met the folks here at Hobby Express, came in and started talking to them and got hooked on quads, the racing quads right away. Now, God, as you guys, I'm sure you guys have 9 to 12 of them and constantly building new ones and breaking them all. It's just how it goes.
Totally. I totally get that because I'm kind of in the same boat as you. I actually came from RC cars. First thing that flew was a Phantom, and I loved the Phantom. And then all of a sudden, I saw these people with these fast little quads. And then all of a sudden, I started doing that, and I was like, "Uh-oh, I'm in trouble now." There goes the wallet.
And then and that was just flying them line of sight. But then which lasts about a week until you completely lose your quad, and then you go FPV. It's like the way. And once you do put the goggles on, you're done. You don't do anything else. As you guys know, it's so addictive.
Hey, that's actually pretty fast, man. Because it took me a while before I was confident enough to actually put goggles on.
I'm horrible at line of sight, though. My line of sight is horrible. So the goggles I'm actually pretty good at, but line of sight, my orientation, something about the orientation. You can put all the LEDs on it you want, I still lose it. I'm not good at
it. It's tough. Hey, Elvin, how long before you actually did FPV? Before you picked up your first quad?
Probably 6 months. 6 months, easy. I would say 6 months because there was the original 3D bang, right? Everybody was. This is a lot of guys weren't really into quads at the time. It was just like a 3D fad. Oh, look, we can flip them over now, and everybody was just kind of like, yeah. I remember going to a fun fly and arguing with one of the main manufacturers for RC helicopters, right? And I'm like, yo, you got to get in on this. This is time to get in right now. You could be an innovator and blah, blah, blah. And he was like, that's nothing. That's garbage. That's a fad. That's going to go away, And I was like, yeah, man, but I was wrong about rock crawlers, Mm-hmm. I said, I was wrong about rock crawlers. I know I'm wrong about that. Are you going to be wrong? And now that person actually makes motors and speed controllers. Quad.
All right. So, cool. Yeah, that's cool. So you got hooked, and you got hooked into FPV. what was the condition in which it made you actually start the Cincinnati quad racers? Was it just?
Yeah, well, actually, a couple of guys, Craig Hennessy and Alex Humphreys, and a few other guys, Clayton Baker, actually created Cincinnati Quad Racers about a year and a half ago. So but it wasn't a whole lot of activity because it wasn't, well known at the time. So I think there was a handful of guys, mostly old fixed wings and Healy guys, that were starting to, get into the realm of the quads and stuff. And when I say a handful, literally like 20 people, and really only 5 or 6 being active.
Right.
So when I started getting into it and started getting affiliated with Hobby Express, I put a little juice behind it, and a little advertisement, a little marketing effort behind it, and that, along with the great group of guys that we've had, it's absolutely exploded. I tell you, I've been involved in FPV of one sort over about a year's time frame, but really heavily over the last like 3 to 4 months, and our enrollment has gone from like 25 to 245 members in a 3 to 4 month span, and of that, around 50 being very active. So like when we have events that we have, in Little Ohio here, and we have, 30, 35 people show up to these events, bringing family members and everyone else. And you guys know, once you put the goggles on, you get hooked. I mean, it doesn't matter what age you are either. We have guys from 14 years old up to mid 60s that are in our group that are actually active, which is awesome to see, because the wealth of experience. A lot of the guys that are older, have all the fixed wing experience and everything like that. So it's just fun talking to them and sharing, ideas and build ideas and everything like that.
That's awesome. That's a really good group that you have up there, because I can tell you sometimes it's a little hard to get people to come on out, especially on those really hot days.
Oh yeah. Well, and that's where we've got a really good course. I mean, we were, initially flying through the noodles and stuff like that, which are really hard to see, at least for me. I mean, I can't see them until I get right up on them. I don't know how some of these pros that are out there just amaze me. You guys may be that way, but my skills, I'm slowly getting up. But I work through Hover Speed RC, Tim Childs out in the UK, the same team that Luke Bannister is on, and he created me a custom branded course, which is absolutely awesome, top notch materials and everything. It's a 10-foot flags, and I have all the gates and stuff. And if anyone needs gates, that's the only person to go through in my mind. I mean, they're awesome gates. So once we had that, and people came out and seen that you can actually see them, see the gates and everything like that, it just started. I mean, each event we've had more and more people, and we've had some scorchers too, like 95 degrees, and people still come out. It's becoming more of a family type thing too. And I seen your bio. You actually conduct a lot of events too, so how that can be. Getting people to come and participate and keeping them coming. It's not an easy thing.
It is not. It takes a lot of effort. I think all of us here are organizers, and there's definitely a lot of motivation that you need in order to get these events started and keep them moving. And
Absolutely.
It's awesome to have people like you in your city, because really without people like you, the sport really doesn't grow. Because hey, you know what? You don't need to tell us. We know it takes a lot of effort, and a lot of hours in the background to make it all work.
But it isn't something how fast it's growing, because we have guys from Dayton. The Dayton group are coming into us. We've talked to the guys in Louisville. No one's come yet, but a lot of the guys interacted. We've had a number of racers that went to the Mega Cavern race that talked to Louisville guys and was loving them. They were fantastic guys, they said. We got guys from Indy. We have guys from Columbus. I mean, a lot of guys coming to our events and stuff, which is awesome. It's just fantastic to see.
Definitely. Hey, I'm actually looking forward to making it up to one of your events this year. I hope I get a chance to do that, and just to hang out, because I actually know a few of you guys, because the guys that you named off, I know every one of them now, because we hung out a little bit, and it's pretty cool. And
they were cool. They were cool guys to hang out with, man.
Yeah, they talked a lot of good stuff about you guys, and that was awesome. I couldn't make it out to that event, but the thing is, like, we want to start getting in more of the sanctioned events and going, and because the only way you learn this stuff is actually going through an event. I think our guys were like shell shocked a little bit, because that was like the first event, plus it was in a freaking cave, right? So it was like, whoa, until you get through the jitters and actually go through how competitions run. You know,
jitters. Yeah.
You really don't know how it is and stuff. So it's like it's an interesting thing, and we have, you know, a lot of guys in our group that are really, really interested in pursuing it, the best they can and stuff. You know, because we all, you know, we interact with, I interact with all the guys at Rotor Riot and Luke, and I talk to him and all that stuff. And, you know, it's just, they're all so helpful guys, and you just watch their skill level and you're like, it just blows you away. Now I know, you know, not everyone can be a Luke Bannister. It's just not going to, that kid's a phenom. It's just not going to happen. I don't know. Did you guys see his feed on the DR1? I don't know how that kid was flying. If that was his feed, it was horrible, and the kid was still just kicking it through there. I couldn't believe it,
dude.
Some people use that force, dude. Some people use that force.
It's like he's psychic sometimes. I'm like, what? Did he just
I know, it's amazing. It's just amazing. But to me, it's like, you know, we just want to get through it, you know, learn our way, finish it, you know, not wreck out within a minute and flying and stuff like that. And that's been a hard thing, because a lot of us do the freestyle, you know, and you get out there and you gun it immediately and you crash out and you're done, you know. So that's one of the learnings, and that's what's been good. Every 2 weeks we have an event, and that's a fun fly or just an event where we race and fun fly. And people are starting to hone their skills there. And we set up the tracks that are kind of like aligned with multi-GP. So the time trial tracks and everything else, and we kind of do it so we can kind of learn how things are set up officially. And our guys, the progression's been amazing to see. You know, myself and a lot of other guys, to where you can see from our first event that we've had several months ago, to where we are now just a week ago. And it's amazing the level that you see. I mean, you have actual races where you have, we have usually about 3 groups of 6 guys flying at a time, and you used to have 6 guys in the air at the end of the race, which is amazing, and initially we'd have 1, so it's fantastic, and there's all varying skill levels. I mean, we have one guy, I'm sure Matthew Johnson. He's been sponsored. He's a freestyle guy, and he's YouTube and Instagram. He's got a huge following, and he's got sponsorships from Tattoo and Drone Wolf, I believe. So, people are starting to get the sponsorships too and stuff like that, which is great to see. It's just an awesome thing.
Definitely. It's one of those things where if you put in the effort, you will definitely see results. So, you kind of went through Cincinnati quad racers becoming really more, wanting to become more professional and really want to be able to compete in the professional scene.
Yeah.
So, is that your focus right now for the rest of 2016, to try to get it to the point where people can come in and race every day, boom, 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 just get them out?
I think it's kind of split. We have a group of guys that just want to fly and have fun, right?
Mm-hmm.
But then we have a group of guys, and that group is growing, of 10, 12 guys that really want to take this seriously and compete. So it's been a kind of struggle for me as we sit and plan these events to have that balance, right?
Right.
So that's where we've been kind of meeting off. I mean, there's 2 or 3, 4 times a week we fly, because, subgroups of us will go off, and create a course or go out and fly in a field and take it, seriously and really try to hone our skills that way. So for me, it's kind of both. We want to increase enrollment, keep spreading the word of the sport, get as many people in we can, let them know that, hey, we're there for questions. We're not going to make fun of you if you can't fly and all that stuff, and knock down those barriers. That's the main thing for me of bringing them in. And then also, let's get some of our guys really out there in some of the race world and the community there, and get into some events, as many as we can. And that's the goal. And we've done that. We've had the Mega Cavern, the Buddy RC event that was just a few weeks ago. We had a handful of guys that participated in that. And all of us, and that's the good thing. It was a bunch of us, we'll caravan and we'll just go, and that's the intent, is getting as many as we can. So it's kind of twofold. It's just grow the group and participate in competition and be competitive.
Hey everybody, it's FPV Fly Girl here with your tip of the week. When I first started building quads, I noticed that they come with a lot of tiny screws, and I tended to lose them. So one option I found was to actually tape some of them down to the table as I go. The other option is to go somewhere like Walmart and buy these little souffle cups. They actually come with a locking lid that snaps on pretty tight, so you don't lose any of the screws inside. You can also go on eBay and search under souffle cups and buy them in bulk. That's it for now, and I'll catch you next time. Have a great flight.
Yeah, no, that's definitely awesome. And Cincinnati, are you the only group up there right now, or like is there other groups?
We're it relative to the quad racing, the FPV component. There are a lot of groups and fields that are fixed wings. We have like 3 separate fields that are clubs that are just focused on fixed wings. They have a quadcopter component of it, an FPV component, but it's nowhere near the size of ours and with enthusiasm like we have. So we are the only one that's an actual group that's dedicated to FPV.
Okay, pretty awesome. So if like
Nice.
If I'm a new guy in Cincinnati and I want to find you guys, how would I go about finding you guys?
It's easy. You go on Facebook, Cincinnati Quad Racers on Facebook, and it's right there. You can see your logo, and you go in and you put in an invite. You go to be a part of a member, and we'll approve it. We have 3 or 4 admins, myself included. We'll approve you to be a part of the group, and you start from there. And that's where we post all of our events and like I said, every 2 weeks we have an event where we have a fun fly and a race, and it's always on Sundays. Our next event is July 10th. So anyone that hears this, go out to Facebook and like our page, and you'll see our events. And we have a private property. A guy was awesome to let us use his property on Sundays every 2 weeks, and we've got a great field to fly on, and it's just been fantastic. Because that's been part of the hard thing, right? Is finding a place to fly, and keeping a positive outlook and people seeing us and not having knuckleheads that are flying into buildings and stuff.
Yeah,
people.
That's one of the hard things about finding a place to fly, especially in the city. Like, I'm lucky right now where I got my normal racetrack set up, and the city of Gladstone, it gave us the opportunity this year to set a precedent. They're making allowances for us. They told last year when we first started racing, they told me that, we could just have to figure out where we could fit in. You can't be in these people's way. They outnumber you. So, you have to try to figure out how to work yourself in. Well, this year now it's like, I go to the baseball director, right? And I'm like, hey, we're scheduled to have a race today. And he's like, okay, we're not using this field and this field, and you can have that whole section over there.
That's awesome.
And so it's great that the city is allowing us. I mean, we race at one of the few places in the whole Portland metropolitan area. And I mean, this is including 50, 60 miles front and back that we can fly.
Yeah.
And we're not the precedent setter. I mean, we're not the main group of guys, but the city brought us power out so that we could charge our batteries.
Wow, that's awesome.
And it's just we police it.
Yeah.
And it's a wonderful thing, and I wish that more opportunities like this would arise around the city.
Yeah.
Because they went crazy for the skate parks, right? Everybody went crazy for skate parks. There's a skate park in every neighborhood, just about, right? Yeah. So let's see if we can boast this up and maybe we can get our own little spots.
To your point, I think it's going there. I mean, with more of these events like Mountain Dew and ESPN getting involved in these things, and it's being in the public, and people know. I mean, you guys know when you go out and fly, you have everyone from cops to grandmas and everyone coming up to you and being interested in it, which is a fantastic thing. And I think people are seeing that. And it's like I've been reaching out to a bunch of different businesses and places, that maybe have a separate place where we'd have a sanctioned event and stuff, and they've been very interested, which is great. We don't have a lot of the bad press yet, in Cincinnati, and we try to keep it that way where someone's done something stupid, So we stay away from any parks that have a bunch of kids or, dogs walking and stuff like that as much as possible. But I think, the way this is growing and evolving, I think it behooves them to be involved in this because, this is growing leaps and bounds, and you guys know that. The more that, the Mountain Dews and the ESPNs and stuff start televising this stuff, there's big money involved in it, and it's going to continue to go that way. So, it's a great thing. And to have people to, like Alvin, like you said, that are willing to give you that, latitude to go in there and do that, I mean, that's great.
Yeah, that's awesome. Have you actually gotten a chance to talk to the city of Cincinnati to actually get, like, places where you can officially fly besides, like, a private reserve from a friend?
I've talked to them several times. Of course, they shy you away from any of the state parks. As I guess they have an ordinance in there that
they do now.
They don't allow it.
Yeah.
But there are a couple fields or a couple areas that they've kind of designated where we can go off and fly. One's the Camp Dennison. It's like a park type area. It's a big area, and they allow us to fly. I've talked to them about that. As anything though, it's like I don't want to have an influx and have an event there and have a lot of people, because I think then they'll start raising their eyes and be like, oh, okay, what's going on here? That kind of thing. But that's where I fly on the one-off days. I just go out there and fly around, and I know about 10 to 12 other guys do the same thing. But I'm going to reach out a little more to them. We have a lot of freestyle guys, right, and that are good at it too, and we have a lot of abandoned buildings and stuff in Cincinnati, right? So, I mean, that'd be something that would be neat, and that's something that I would definitely, go and try to get, the approval to do it, as opposed to going in and just doing it, which a lot of people, do. So definitely. I've been talking with some folks about that, and it's kind of on the fence right now with a few things. But I think that would be kind of cool and different, to tape something like that, kind of like what Rotor Riot does, and stuff like that, to go out and try it. But it's in its infancy. It's in its infancy with it, and that's why I secured a private location. So we wouldn't have to be bouncing around all over the place and getting approvals every single time and that kind of thing, which we've been blessed to be able to get that private property to do that. But I think they'll come around. What about you guys? Where you guys are at? You have, Elvin, you told me, but what about you? Do you have a location to go?
Yeah, we're actually approved to fly on a college campus, and that's our go-to spot. So our college campus, University of Louisville, they allowed us to fly out there last year.
And it's nice. It's nice. It's beautiful.
That's great.
Yeah, because
how did you do that?
One of our guys works for U of L, and I pinged him, and he pinged his boss, and his boss pinged his boss. So it's like business, man. It's, do you know the guy? If you know the right guy, you can get the in. So
yeah, exactly.
And they have a beautiful campus. So we fly in their backyard on the weekends, and the police officers, they're so used to us, they wave at us now at this point.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, so we were really lucky on that, because like you, like what you said, like we're a little bit fearful of doing it in parks, because you don't know who's going to show up, if a kid's going to run out there, and you just don't want that bad PR, and that's
right.
when it
and
hurts.
there's always that runaway quad that happens to us all, right? I mean, it happens every now and then, and I'm always scared about that, and that's why, having the private location, private property, it makes it that worry gone, right? Yeah. Now, we talked about events. What kind of numbers do you guys have when you have your local events, or do you have when you have just like an event where you want to go out weekly and fly, y'all get together and stuff like that? Do you have quite a few people come out and join you?
For me, it's probably anywhere from 8 to 15 if it's just an impromptu, and if we have a big event, we might get around 30. To be honest with you, the Louisville crowd there's only a group of hardcore guys. Unless we actually plan a big event, then I'll get people coming from Indy, people from Lexington. I don't think I've actually had anybody come from Cincinnati. That might be a little bit too far. But the Indy guys, they will travel. And I don't know. I think you should ping out the Indy guys, because the Indy guys might come to your Cincinnati stuff if you get serious about your racing.
Yeah, I would. Offline, if you can send me some information, I absolutely would reach out to them. Do they have a big group?
No, there's only about 3 to 5 of them, but they're really good. They're really good guys, and they're kind of like Matt, in which they're really well known online. So having them down there is kind of really cool, and I mean, they're just cool guys. But they will travel and they'll have fun, and they'll definitely compete. I'll tell you that right now. They're really good.
Well, we're open to whoever. I mean, you guys, anyone. Like I said, did you guys know the one thing that impressed me about this that helps spur me to keep me going with trying to grow it is just the community is awesome. I mean, people like yourself and you guys, You know, like everyone you talk, I mean, even people that are so busy, like, you know, Steele and Chad and all them guys, which, you know, they get hit a gazillion times over PM. Every message I send them, they respond to, you know, and I've talked, it's just, that's a great thing, you know, that, you know, people are always willing to help, you know. I don't have a bad seed in the bunch, really, that I've seen, especially in our group. I mean, something breaks down on the field, there's someone there that pulls out something and he gives it to you, you repair it, and you go, you know, which is a great thing. And we have varying different skill levels, and everyone's willing to help folks and not make them feel stupid, you know, if they can't fly or they, you know, hit something or do whatever, you know, which is a great thing.
Okay. Yeah. Go ahead. You got anything? Or
no.
I will say this one thing though. I was at Flight Bash, and I was really jealous of the Cincy group because they know how to travel. They had the whole RV set up. They came. I was like, I had this little tent, and they're like have air conditioning and power.
Yeah.
I was like, what is this?
No, I know. I had to cancel last minute. I was going with them, but they had it all hooked up and they were ready to go, man. They were gunned about it. So that's going to be the norm now when we go to these different events. So you can expect to see this RV roll in.
So I'll be
on every event.
Like behind the
party bus.
I was so jealous. I was like, they just had this set up and they were in this prime spot. I was like you guys. I was like, swear.
Yeah, that's awesome. That's awesome.
Yeah, you guys know how to travel. Kirk and Craig and they're really cool people.
Yeah, they're good guys.
We have a lot of people that listen all over the place. If you get the chance to talk to the Cincy folks, they're super friendly and they're really cool guys. So, now you talked about obviously Cincinnati, and it seems like your group also likes to travel. Is that something that you're actually trying to do as well? Is trying to organize your group to travel to other big events and have fun, or?
Yeah, absolutely. And I think, you know, there's a subset, like you said, you have the hardcore guys that would absolutely be willing to do that. You know, Kirk, Craig, a handful of others will absolutely fall into that camp, myself, that, you know, any event that comes up, and that's the thing, you know, with the last one with the RV and stuff, that's kind of like what we want to do. So it's like we want to be able to travel and go to these events where we can, where, you know, time, money permits it. Time off work. For some of them, I don't have that problem, thank God, but a lot of those people do.
We do.
You know, so it's like we absolutely want to get involved in that. And like we said, you know, it's like, so, you know, we're trying to network, you know, right? So we're trying to get into the networks and kind of see and get known so people can, you know, let us know when these things are happening. You know, the big events we're aware of, right? But all these little one-offs, you know, we want to try to get ourselves immersed in that community more so we're aware of them and we can participate and stuff like that. But absolutely, you know, our goal is, you know, 2 or 3 a season we want to go to.
That's pretty awesome. Yeah, that's kind of my goal too. Is I try to get a few people along to just travel to other people's events, just to learn from them, exchange ideas, grow the contact list, because I'm always constantly learning. Right, there's always something to learn, and like generally speaking, when you go to somebody else's event, there's always something unique about their event that you don't have at your event.
Right, and you pick up on. I mean, because that's, you know, I mean, we're learning through conducting an event. You know, an event that works smoothly, so to speak, if any event does, you know, and so any tidbits we can pick up. I mean, they talked to the Louisville guys, and they came back and, you know, had my ear about how cool the guys were and how they gave pointers on events and stuff like that, and it went over really well. So those guys are very knowledgeable. So it's like we want to continue to pick up those type tidbits to make the events run smoother and more efficiently and that kind of thing. We just got an ILAP system. We have the next fly we're going to have it instituted where, you know, folks have the transponders that want to have them and stuff like that, and set up the ILAP system and everything and actually do it that way. We've had a guy, Tim Creek, he created his own system that we were using for, you know, the past few months and stuff, but we know that the standard was going more like to the ILAP, so we wanted to be more on the standard, so we'll be implementing that too over the next couple.
No, that's pretty good, because then if you have like an official event, like if the Louisville or Indy guys come up, they already have their ILAP transponders, and they'll just come up and it'll be easy.
That's where we got it from. Kirk came back and basically said, "Hey, you know, the Louisville guys said you got to have the ILAP. That's what you do. They have the transponders, so and that's what we did. So more universally used."
Yep. So I'm glad you're the one that's funding that.
I know.
I know how that feels because it takes a little money to go fund all that stuff.
Yeah, but it's I have no problem doing it. I mean, I enjoy the guys, enjoy the interaction I have with them, and it's just a great group of guys, and you guys can attest to that. I mean, we also have we've had a few indoor events that the little the tiny whoop.
Yeah.
We do that too. Yeah. So right. So we're starting to get that. We've got one of our guys that created a business, Wonderworks. He has a business 3D printing.
I've seen that site.
Yeah, just the tiny whoop stuff. So it's like the antenna protectors and the mounts for the cameras. He creates these cool Rotor Riot fan shields for your goggles.
Yeah. I saw that.
So I didn't realize they were from Cincy.
Awesome. He's in our group. So he started that like a month ago, and it's been nuts, I guess. I mean,
I'm sure
big right now, So we've been getting involved in that. So I want to keep it not just a warm weather type thing. So it's like I want to evolve it through, and we do have a couple locations indoor where we can fly, which is awesome for a small fee, which is nothing, and we can have a little tiny whoop set up FPV system, in the winter and the off months. So
we're about to do the exact same thing. We got permission with one of the local high schools.
That's fun too.
To use the whole gym. That's going to be crazy.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Yeah, I think really, me and Elvin were talking about this, and I think like right around May, right around when Megadrone happened, it really blew up. And now everybody has these things, and now everybody's like looking at, hey, how can we race with these things now? So we're like, start at 250, went down to about 210. Now we're going to be at like 50. Pretty soon we can't even see these things.
I know, it's crazy, isn't it?
Well, you seen that guy fly one through the office building?
Yeah,
he's like 35 stories up, right? And you can see he shows looking down from the glass window, looking down, and then he puts it on his desk and takes off, flies up through the false false ceiling, and into someone else's office.
That's crazy.
That's crazy, dude.
It's amazing some of the stuff, and you guys know it's like there's always someone trying to push the envelope. It's like always, and it's just amazing to see. And some of them, they pull them off. You got to wonder how many takes they had to do it. Like some of the ones I've seen that do the massive power loops and going underneath a deck that's, 6 inches off the ground. It's like, how in the hell are you doing that? It's just like everyone's trying to push the envelope, which is really cool to do. Yeah, but I think that's what's great about the tiny whoop is you don't have to worry about, you crash that, who cares? You're not going to do anything to it, It's just another spin on the sport, which is awesome to do. And you have little kids, anyone can do this, to do that and not worry about damage or anything like that, which is awesome.
That's really nice, is that you can crash that anywhere. Nobody's going to bat an eye at it. So it's like, oh, okay, this works.
Yeah, I terrorize the dogs and my girlfriend and everything in the house constantly with the thing, and they get sick of it, but they're used to it now, so it's like buzz around them.
Don't be that guy that caught his old lady in the bathroom.
I've done that. I still have the video of blackmail if I need to use it.
Honey, I need to go here. Otherwise, this footage is going on the internet.
You got it.
That's so funny, that guy.
How long have you guys been doing FPV?
I'm like you. Like, I think FPV really became a thing about a year and a half ago. So
yep.
I'm right there with you. I was probably there when like the 280s, the 280 millimeters, and the ZMR started becoming popular.
Yeah.
But like I spent a lot of time line of sight for a long time because number one, like if you don't notice, like I wear like thick glasses that are like this thick, so goggles are very challenging for me. So I used the display for a while, but display is really annoying because of the sun and all that stuff.
Oh, yeah.
So. I finally got over it, and I got into goggles. But then, for me, I started organizing, and once you start organizing, that cuts into your flight time. You know that, right?
Oh my God, yeah. I mean, there's a couple events I don't fly at all. It's just the way it is. And luckily, we have a few other guys, Kirk and Tim, who really participate in organizing too. But It's all right. I mean, it's fun no matter what, and we end up getting it in the end anyway. So we all meet offline and fly and during the week, so it's all good.
Now this guy over here, he's been around forever. You know, he's
What's your background, Alvin? I can tell you've been around. So what's your background?
My background? Well, I started off flying radio control helicopters after probably a 10-year lull.
Why is it that I've seen people, the guys that have been really good at the Heelys, seem to pick this up and really kick butt with it?
It's the line of sight thing.
Yeah.
That's what it is. To tell you the truth, me and a couple of guys, we sat down and talked about it, and we have a couple of advantages over new pilots. One, we understand the intricacy of putting a model together, right? There's some rules, you know, like if it's metal to metal, Loctite, you know what I mean? Those rules are mandatory with all things that you build, you know? So if you don't want stuff falling out of your quad, put Loctite on your nuts or bolts, right? Then we have this theory about crashing. You know, we tear up thousands of dollars, you know?
Sure. Yeah.
One crash from a helicopter, and you know, I'm looking at I could be looking at $500 or $600 to rebuild the bird, so it'll look like it did 5 minutes before I crashed it, you know. And we get pretty complacent with that, you know. It hurts, and the money, you know. Some of us don't fly as often because you know the crashes start to pile up, and they start to dent that wallet a little harder, and the old lady's looking at you a little funny and wanting to slap you every time you leave for the hobby shop.
Yep.
But I think that gives us this opportunity, like, you know, screw it, I crashed it. I got to rebuild it, you know what I mean? And we just go right at it. And we're used to buying more than one set of parts, you know, like we don't buy just 4 motors. We buy 6.
Yeah.
Right? Because we know we're going to burn or test something up, right?
Yeah.
So I think that's part of the advantage that we have. And then I've told new pilots this: if you fly the routines that we teach regular RC helicopter, single rotor helicopter pilots, if you can learn those routines line of sight, it'll make you so much better of a pilot because you'll understand where your helicopter is in the 3D world, right? You have to understand all aspects and all different directions of flying. And once you grasp that, it seems to help you excel. Now, there's guys out there that have that are naturals. There's people that pick up RC flying or FPV, and they can twist. Their mind is creative. You know, you look at those people that are really, really creative in the 3D thing. There's a lot of those guys that are creative everywhere else. You know, the expression is not limited to FPV. Yeah. It has been expanded all over time in all different like Marty, he used to do. He still does. He rides aerobatic motorcycles, right? He does stunt tricks on motorcycles. He has a unique perception of how to throw his weight around, right? Yep. And how to get an angle of something by twisting and turning. And I think that has a lot to play with his flying skills today.
Yeah.
Don't you think?
Yeah. I mean, I think so too. I think that makes perfect sense. I mean, you know, being in the hobby shop gives me advantage of talking to a lot of the guys, and we have some big Heelys here and stuff that come in. You can talk to them, and we're big on. I'm big on the simulators too. So it's like you know, I have real flight and stuff that's really not quad related. We sell a bunch of them that have the controllers, but you know, Free Rider I use a lot, honestly. To me, I mean, I have Liftoff too, and a few of the other ones, hot props. But Free Rider, I mean, I'm on that a lot, and that's helped me honestly hone my skills and stuff a lot, and try the things. Try something without costing you $200 every time you crash. You know, so it's a fun thing to get out there and do it. I think a lot of our guys use the simulators, as well. And
it helps
from it.
Yeah, it definitely helps.
one of the things that I've noticed too is that over time you talk to a lot of pilots, and a lot of pro pilots say they don't use a simulator because it doesn't feel like they're quad, right?
Yeah.
And I don't think that there's a simulator yet.
Yeah.
That actually feels like the real thing,
Yeah.
There hasn't been, and I don't think at this time technology in our brain and our, the combining of all those aspects and radios and all of this hasn't merged to where, it's going to feel the same.
Yeah.
Technology is just not there.
Yeah.
But the bonus that I believe in with the simulator is that with the simulator, it gives you the opportunity to gain muscle memory. It's not about where you put the ship at on the map. It's about whether or not you learn how to turn, right?
Yep.
Turn, right? Forward, back, forward, back. Those things is what the simulator is for. And on those days when, it's out raining and you got, your second and your third day, and you've normally been out there at least 10 packs a day. Let's just say at least 10 packs a day. And I would require new pilots to get at least 10 packs a day. If you plan on being a viable candidate to finish a race, a viable candidate to win a race needs to at least perform 10 packs a day practice.
I would agree with that. Yeah.
I would say that would be your minimum. So, you get out and do 3 packs in the morning, 3 packs at lunch, or 3 packs in the evening, right? You're going to have to do that, and you try to toss 1 or 2 in, you can come out of the shower, throw on a shirt, put your goggles on.
Yeah.
Even the tiny whoop, right, in the house. This is like, I got a buddy of mine who I was trying to get to fly his quad more often. He has great flying skills. He's just apprehensive about flying quads, right? And when you tell him you're not in stabilized mode, he freaks out and crashes. It doesn't matter what it is. As soon as you say you're not in stable mode, am I in stable mode? No, you're in acro. Oh, dude. And it's just a mental thing for him, right? So, like, he got a tiny an inductrix, really. That's what it is.
Mm-hmm.
And then he bought the Quantum. I had a Nano FPV. So I was showing him, I took the camera off my Nano FPV and put it on my inductrix. And that's the one with the supposedly 1 milliwatt camera.
Yep.
And he just loved it, flying it. So he went and bought a camera, and he's got some 200 milliamp batteries, and he's getting about 3.5 minutes to 4 minutes of flight time. And he's in love with it. He showed up at the track Sunday and raced it.
Hey, wow.
He's like, I'm coming to the race. And I'm like, what are you going to race? Because I built him a quad. Like, I took a quad and took his parts and my parts and made him a quad, right? And it's pretty damn fast, But he says it's too much.
Yeah.
So he comes out and he's like, he gets 3 laps and comes in second.
He comes in second.
Freaking
right. I mean, that's the thing. It's amazing.
Because everybody else crashed, right?
That's what I'm saying.
Everybody else crashed. And he made the course 4 laps.
Yeah.
I'm lapping him, right?
Yeah.
I'm lapping him. And I'm like, dude, that thing is so slow.
It's amazing.
But
it's crazy.
He finished and he's excited. And that's what we need, right? We need that kind of, here's a great one for you. My son, who has owned a quad for about 6 months at least, okay? And he was trying to fly. He really was. I mean, he was pushing hard. He's sitting here on the simulator and he was messing up bad. And I'm like trying to talk to him, and it's just not clicking. Mm-hmm. And I get more frustrated, like I can teach pretty much anyone, and then when I'm trying to talk to my son, who's like a prodigy, everything I can do, he can do better, right? So I'm like, I just got to get him a radio and, put the goggles on and let him go at it because it'll click, right? No, it was a hard thing to understand and to deal with. And I was very hurt when, many me couldn't do it, and
Dad pride.
I was very sad, very, very sad. I went to the wife, with almost tears in my eyes. Anyway, but the other day, he grabbed the headset, put them on, grabbed his mom's tiny whoop, puts on the goggles, and took off and flew a whole pack. Not even crashed, bumped into the dog, bumped into underneath the table. He was just flying. He's like, Dad, I got it, Dad. And I'm like, when you come back in August, there will be a box waiting for you.
Yeah. Don't you think
it's just like, that's amazing.
Yeah. People are using it to learn, I think, which is a great thing because there's not that fear of, the damage or hurting someone and stuff like that. You can just do whatever you want to do with it and fly it around, not have to worry about it. I mean, I think that's what people are doing.
A lot of people are learning. A lot of people, it's getting a lot of exposure. I believe that soon, Horizon is going to capitalize on this. I mean, it is their product, and the original parts, were from their website. I mean, nobody had a camera that small. You had to build a camera, and then you were putting like a 50 milliwatt on it, or 200 milliwatt. I got a buddy with a 200 milliwatt on one of those little husbands, and I'm like, Jesus, you can fly it so far. The range is so far, you cannot fly that thing out of range.
That's crazy,
because it'll drop out of the sky. When you get halfway.
We sold back, this was months ago when we had our first indoor event. It was the Nano FPV, $159, whatever. We sold 15, 20 of those suckers, and all the guys, just picked them up. I want them, and now it's it's the what's it called? Duttricks, and I'm surprised they haven't retrofitted that yet because they see online you have separate businesses like I mentioned that are creating this. You'd think that they'll come around to that and modify or put something out that has it all included in there because it's just the stability of it. I think that people like, and it's smaller, obviously, and use it.
A lot of us, with you being in business, right? With you being in business, you understand the fact that you get this idea, right? You get an idea and you say, okay, I'm going to build this, right? There's a market for it. There's a product that there's a market for it. And because you live in the great United States of America, where we have rules and rules and rules and more rules on how to do this bullshit and that bullshit, right?
Yep.
And if you don't do this, we'll penalize you and capitalize it and tax your ass good, right?
Yep.
So, with those rules in place, you get this idea and you got to go through it. You got to go talk to a lawyer. You got to go talk to this and you got to go talk to that. And by the time you get the product almost done for market, some other jerk off comes out with the same product.
Oh, yeah.
China, right?
Yeah.
I believe that is the issue with a lot of the major companies here in the United States that have to do with RC.
I think
because there's rules and regulations here in the United States.
Well, plus it evolves so quickly too,
and things happen so fast.
Yeah,
like that the prop changers.
Yeah,
the wrenches with the pins in them, and then the ones with the little rubber balls around this so you can grab the bell. Those things. I was talking to a company that was talking about that last year, right? Mm-hmm. But they were trying to figure out how to do it right and make sure it was right. And they're about to come out with the product now, right? And it fits it fits the cone. So not only does it, because the ones that are out now, when you stick them in your cone, you actually scratch the cone, right?
Right. Yeah.
You know, so they have theirs because all their motors use the same cone. They have theirs so it fits the cone and you never mar up the cone.
Yeah.
Which is like, okay, yeah, but they're 6 months behind now.
Yeah, right. I mean, I tell you, I have I have the disease of, well, being in the hobby shop too, is I have to try all the new stuff. And so I've tried all the Ready to Fly. I've had the Vortex 250 Pro, the 285, the Vendetta. I have the Vendetta. We're getting 15 Umagod Vortex in. And so I've tried all of them, you know, and just, you know, versus the ones that I've built and stuff. You know, the rage right now for us is the Alien with all the KISS setup, you know, KISS ESCs and flight control. That so far has been pretty hard to beat. The KISS setup's been pretty hard to beat, what people like. But I just like to try all the different stuff just to see what it's all about. I mean, the thing about the Ready to Fly, though, I mean, I've had good experiences with the Vortex, not so much with the Vendetta, back and forth and stuff. But it's just, you know, when you break anything, it's all proprietary. You got to go straight through them, get that separate part and stuff, which is a pain. What do you got there?
It's a Toretto, right?
Yeah, this is my Toretto 130. Let me introduce you to my sweetheart.
I bet that thing. What size motors you got on it?
It comes with.
I know you've upgraded it. You had to upgrade
it. It comes with 1306 4,000 kVs, and mine are a little bit over spec, about 200 kV. But all it needs is 3S, but it sounds like a band.
Oh yeah, I know. We built all of them. We build them and we sell them all set, ready to go. I mean, and we sell them all. I mean, we build them from up to the 280 size.
So you guys have a ready. You build up a couple of quads and have them in the hobby shop ready to go.
Oh yeah, we got a ton of them. We just build, we build, and we go and have them set up.
Is that a robot?
You got the we.
What the hell is that?
Yeah, see the try here with the 6 blade with the 6.
That's a 6. Yeah.
Yeah, and
what is that?
This doesn't have an FPV on it, but we can set it up to it, and we just.
What is that?
This thing goes crazy. I mean, it's good for freestyle stuff, but I mean, we have everything.
I like this hobby shop.
Oh yeah, I mean,
we should go visit it.
Yeah, that's the thing that's great about Hobby Express is, we really cater to the quad guys. We've got the fixed wings and the Heelys and stuff, but it's really the only place to go other than online. Locally to get we have guys come from Dayton, that come from Kentucky, that come into here because we carry everything, and we've guys that are knowledgeable that can
all
work
kind
on
of stuff. I would fly hanging from the ceiling and stuff.
Oh yeah,
cool.
I see it.
Oh, we have a ton of stuff. It's all hanging from the ceiling. we have a lot of good size stuff too.
Yeah, I can tell.
People come in on consignment too. So people come in and want to sell their stuff, and we take it on consignment and stuff, bring them in and stuff. But it's great. It's great being in this hobby because you can try out all the new stuff and get it in, and you get the feedback from the people that buy it and try it out and kind of evolve with it.
Well, and with you have to buy with you being in business, you buy stuff, right? And a lot of people don't understand that you being in business and you staying in business is harder than being in business, right? Because you have to buy product, then sell that product, and keep on stock that product.
And make money on that product.
Right, and make money on that product before that product becomes not the fad.
Got it.
Right.
Got it. That's why, capitalizing on the tiny loop, capitalizing on that stuff. And the FPV, we were at the right place, the right time with that. But then again, some of the people that you deal with, some of the vendors you deal with, the markup is so bad and the minimum order is so high that you can't carry it. I mean, that was that way on, some of the Vortex stuff initially, but now, we broke into that, and when Horizon came out with the Blade version, and we were able to get that in, and stuff like that. There are a lot of them that that have those restrictions. And when you're a smaller shop and you're not a franchise type chain, which we aren't, you're not going to shell out 15, 20 grand on an order for one type of thing. You're just not going to do it. You can't.
Right.
Because you never sell that much. And
right, you never sell it. You end up discounting it, and you end up losing your butt on it. And so that's where, and I think you guys will attest to this, and I tell everyone that are getting this hobby, the ready-to-fly stuff's okay, but I sway against it because you got to know how to fix these things.
You do.
For you to think that you're going to get in the sport and you're not going to crash it, you're goofy. You're out of your mind, because that's a part of it. So you got to know.
It can be done. It can be done. You have to say that, because there's always that one guy, right? He's intent to prove a point, but you're going to lose out.
Yeah,
you're going to lose out because the time that you take being cautious is going to be negative in your skill production level. Right.
Absolutely.
I mean, you can sit around. That's part of what I was talking about with the helicopter stuff. You have like, I have this, like, if I'm flying and I lose signal for more than 3 seconds, click, I shut the bird off and just start looking for it to fall out.
Yeah. Right.
Because I would rather that than it to fly off and run into something. Right.
Yeah.
So, and even though it costs the same amount of money, or $300 or whatever, and it hurts, and I got to pull it out, my safety precaution thought process is a lot more over with the cost of the quad, right? Yeah. So if I'm flying, at 300-400 feet up, and I could be a sketchy spot, right, and I lose signal, click, I shut it off and start looking for it to fall, right?
Yeah.
And I'm not worried about. My whole point is not letting it crash on something else, right?
Right.
So,
yeah,
it's funny. Think that's a big advantage.
A story of my first drone, call this a drone, that I had was the Phantom 3 Pro. Mm-hmm. I made the mistake of not going, getting the cheap old $79 one to beat the crap out of you, the Hubson or something. You beat the crap out of her, the SEMA, whatever. Yeah. And I went, spent $1,200-$1,300 on a Phantom Pro. And day 2 out on the island out in Lake Erie, I'm over the water about 40 feet, lost signal, and fail-safe kicked in, and it dropped. Boop. And it was gone 30 feet underwater. Day 2, that was a $1,300 mistake. Bye. And the thing of, I had about 15 people standing around watching me. The shock in their eyes when they looked at me like, and I was like, it happens. What am I going to do? But I have a crowd of people around me, and I take a drink. Day 2, I had the thing.
Benny, I'd be pissed off for a week. I'd be
oh my God, I was. When I went home, I was like, I can't believe this happened. It's like, it's unreal. I had a crowd watch me have an epic fail day 2. So I learned the hard way.
Yep. You know what? You'll never do that ever again. That story will live with you for the rest of your life.
Yeah, but Alvin, to your point, there's different financial barriers, and I understand that with everyone. And if you're getting in this hobby, you got to know what you're getting into, and it's not cheap. But to learn, you really got to, you got to cross those barriers and push the boundaries and try to do that. And with that will come some epic crashes, and will come some total demolishes and stuff. It happens. That's just the way it is. And we see a little bit of that in our group, but for the most part, some of these guys are balls to the wall, and they don't care. They'll do it, which is a good thing to see. But that's a lot of people who come into the shop, and they'll talk around. You can tell they're hesitant, and but like I said, you're going to have to get over that because you're going to crash this thing, and it's going to cost you money. And the first few crashes, you're going to get over it. It's not going to be all pretty looking like that forever. And you guys know, it's just like, it's just the way it is.
I don't even care about pretty anymore. It's like, is it flying? Is it flying well?
That's all I do, man. I used to sit down and try to cover the wires and make everything all color,
Oh yeah.
And make it pretty. And, after about that third or fourth crash, I'm tired of redoing that. It takes another hour to redo it, I'm like, screw it, man. Just here's some black tape.
We have one guy that I've seen. He had fly a Speedix, and you'd see popsicle sticks in there propping things up, and he didn't give a crap, and it was great. And he flew that thing all the time, and he's still flying today. I think it's just like, that's great. You see different ends of the spectrum of these when you're in this hobby and you see it. with what people will do, what they bring in for you to repair and all this other stuff. It's pretty cool. You see it all.
I remember last year there was a guy with literally he came to fly with a half broken arm. It was it was held together by some wood and stuff, and I'm like, there's no way this thing's gonna die. Dude, he won the day. I was so surprised. I was like, he just won the day. I'm like, because he was good. I mean, he practiced hard, but so don't ever discount anybody.
No, we have a couple of our guys that only fly 3S, but they are the most consistent guys there are. They hit every gate, smooth as they can be, and they'll just go along. One of our guys, Mike Welch, he was at the Mega Cavern. He went further than anyone, actually, got up 3 or 4 races, and because he was slow and steady. And, a lot of, I guess, in that race, a lot of people learned the hard way that, there were some awesome racers there. I watched the feed, too, and if you guys were there, I'm sure you've seen it. There were a handful of just fantastic flyers in there, pilots, and Mike in there and went and did his thing, man, and went up the ladder and a few things because he was just slow and steady, which was great, and that was learning for our guys. With Craig and Kirk was telling me, and they just went off too quickly and crashed right away and stuff, and so they brought that learning back, and I think that's going to happen with anyone, when you get in your first event, is the jitters and wanting to try to go too fast, too quickly, and I think it's just normal.
There's a lot of things that a lot of pilots don't understand, and it's like, don't mess with your ship. Like, who cares if BL Heli comes out with another BL Heli 2 days before, right?
Very true. Yeah.
Don't mess with your ship. Otherwise,
I make that mistake too much, and I told
myself. Me too. I'm owning up to it. I like to tinker with my ship, and I like to mess with it, and then get it a little more refined and a little more refined. And the new BL Heli comes out, and you load it up just before a major race, and you go out there and you have desyncing, And what are you going to do? You screwed up.
You find yourself more of messing around with it and not getting used to it. And that's what I told myself and the guys in the group here recently is I have an alien build where I'm having all the stuff and all the kits and the Illuminator 2206s and all that stuff. And I'm going to focus in on that one of flying it well, and really getting a feel for it as opposed to, pulling myself too thin across all 4 or 5 quads that I have and get to flying, because that's just happened with me. I like to try all these different things, but you never get the feel for all of them,
Eddie, I think all 3 of us have this issue is because we're so far into the sport and because all of us here are at one point or another mentors because we meet so many new people.
Yeah.
So it's almost to us like I have to at least try all the new things because I'm going to get asked. If I get asked, I don't want to say I don't know, right?
Right.
So that's true. That's true. That's a hard one right there.
Yeah, so you always want to try this new stuff, but you never actually climb the ladder because you're always down here learning new stuff. And
I know. It's awesome though.
So you're on the KISS bandwagon? Is that what you love right now?
Right now, I think I'm on that. I just have one build that. Do you fly it too?
Yes. They make great stuff.
Yeah, so I'm on that right now. I'm learning the hard way because I the 5-inch alien that I'm building right now. I got a lot of stuff through Rotor Riot and through Pyro Flip RC. That guy's great, man. He turns his stuff around quickly. Just because we have a hobby shop here doesn't mean some stuff we can't get. And the kit stuff is one of them. So I go through them to get that stuff, but I've burnt up 3 or 4 ESCs, and that's kind of an expensive thing with the KISS, to burn up.
And it's hard to find.
It's hard to find, right? People, you go through them so quickly, and people gobble them up. So I've got a backlog now. I've got a stockpile around 12 of them aside, which is nice.
Your little shinies.
Right. But, I do like that. It's a nice setup, definitely, from the power and the responsiveness and what I'm seeing. Do you have it on an alien frame or a different frame?
I have it on an Atmospheric Adventures frame. It's a small little X frame that they have. And what I like about the KISS, not so much I don't know, for me a lot of people are just hell bent on just thrust and numbers and stuff like this. I find for what I want to do is I want predictability. I'd rather have my craft be predictable and what it's going to do than having ungodly amounts of thrust.
That's me. Yeah.
Because like it doesn't matter if your Corvette has like 1,000 horsepower. If you can't put it on the road, it doesn't matter. It's the same philosophy.
If you can't keep it on the road, really.
Yeah, can't.
Yeah.
So I find and no offense, I know I have a lot of tuners that love tinkering, but like I'm not a tuner. It's like I just want something that flies. It's like KISS stuff is easy. So.
Yeah.
Well, I mean, if you know that's what listen. There's a lot of guys out there that love, like, I like tuning stuff. Like you tell me, oh, I can't get it to tune, and I'm like, get out of the way. I'm not even flying till this thing's in the air. Damn it, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
And I will dedicate the whole evening to you getting yours dialed in so you can fly it, right?
Yep.
And if I can't do it, then there's something wrong with something, right?
Mm-hmm.
Anyway, so it could be a bad flight controller. It could be a bad speed controller. We've had bad motors, so it's something like that. That's the only way we can't figure this out, because all this stuff is supposed to be kind of easy as we progress, right? It has gotten easy, right?
It has, except for pit tuning. That has not gotten
But and there's always learning. That's the thing that's great too. And you guys say it in a community. I mean, in our group, we have different levels of. Some guys just really understand. I've got a handful of guys that I always go to when I have questions. Andrew Weebolt and Kirk's really good at it too, who really know all the ins and outs of the tuning and stuff. And you also learn on some of the hard way on when you're building and doing some of this, touching of the carbon and stuff like that. You'll fry stuff up, the black smoke of death. You learn the hard way with this kind of stuff as you go through it. Some of it's supposed to be intuitive and straightforward, but there's little things like that they don't tell you until you plug it in and you see the black smoke of death. And then you're like,
that's $30
I fried it. I'm done. Go get another $30 flight controller. It happens all the time.
Those hurt.
It's learning.
Yeah,
it's learning.
Those hurts. By the way, I'm also a big fan of the power cubes because they're super easy. That's why.
Yep. The Vendetta I have, and I have on my Alien, I've put, I got the Unify, TBS Unify and the PMP50 OSD that I put on it. And so far, man, I love it. I love the setup on there. I haven't flown it a whole lot because I've been, in different phases of building it and stuff. But hopefully at the end of this week, I'm going to get it out and really fly it. I've heard a lot of good things about the Luminaire, the 2206s. First time I've going to fly those. So I'll see how those, perform. But
good motors. Again,
I've heard that.
See, look, I can tell he has expensive taste because everything he's listed off are really good, but they're also really expensive.
Yeah, I know. I know. I'll have a lot into this build for sure, but I just want to see what all the rage was about with everything. So
no, it's fun, right?
See what it is.
Having fun. That's all.
See, you guys on your Aliens, man. They're great ship, but I love my drone, my Shiv, man. I'm telling you right now,
it's a good competitor.
You have it with you?
Yeah, I got it. Right.
Is it an X? It's not an X.
Yeah, it's a True X.
True X.
True X. It's a True X, and it's beautiful. It flies really well. No complaints. I'm flying a prototype flight controller right now, and
is it like a 210 size, 220?
It's a 215 or something like that.
5-inch 215 around there.
Yeah. And it's pretty damn durable. Yesterday I stuffed it in from we're flying down these cliffs, right? This is big hill where these paragliders go and train. Paragliders or sail kites. Mm-hmm. Anyway, they go to train, and we were flying down it with them. And I'm flying, probably doing 70, 80 miles an hour down this hill, right? And I'm like, let me see if I can get a little closer. No,
wow.
Video goes out, and then video comes back and you're tumbling. Because I was going just that fast, and like, I'm just like, blah, 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 blah. You see yellow, and then you see light, sun, yellow, light, sun, like that. And I'm like, oh God, it's done, right? It's done. Because there's rocks down at the bottom, right? So I run over there. I'm like, taking off my goggles, and I'm running over there through the sand. And I finally get over there, and I'm like, where's my quad? Record. Now look up. Oh shit! It got stuck in between two rocks. I mean, just wedged in there. Just like, and it was stuck. Nothing broke. Not even a broken prop. Nothing. Just the battery came off, and it's down on the ground. But the quad's up there, and I was like,
wow, lucked out.
If you haven't noticed, Elvin breaks a lot of stuff.
Oh yeah, I do. I mean, I have to say, it's part of like my plan, right?
Yeah.
If I'm going to recommend your stuff, I'm going to break arms, going to break a top plate, and on this thing so far, I've broken 2 arms, and both of them from crashing on pavement, both of them from desync issues at like 200 or 300 feet. Crossing the parking lot. Crossing one park, I was crossing the parking lot, and the other one, I was crossing a set of trees, and just as I got on the backside of the trees, I heard whick, and I was like, "Oh no!"
It's an expensive sport. It's all.
But I gotta say that the guys at Drone Eclipse took care of me. They sent me some replacement arms. It's a great company. They got a great theory. They just became, I have to give them a little shout out. They're the main sponsor to the Northwest regional qualifiers up here, 5A group regional qualifiers next month, July. Yeah, July.
Right.
In July. So they're the main sponsor right now, Drone Eclipse. Whoop, whoop. I'm hoping I'm going to be there. I'm not sure.
Nope.
It's awesome. A little drive for us, and we just shipped the son off to Louisiana for the next 3 months, all the summer, man. So he's out fighting mosquitoes right now. I'm pretty sure.
Oh God, yeah.
Hey, that's cool. All right,
ching.
You funny man. All right, let's get back on track before we wrap up here. So, yeah, we went off on quite the tangent, but it was a cool tangent, so that was cool.
Yeah.
So,
wait, I got a question. I got one more question.
One more question.
What about race flight? What are you guys switching over to race flight? The rest of you guys up there, because right now, I would say, out of all the pro pilots, race flight is becoming the program to run.
We have not.
I have a few people that are checking out race flight. I have one of my members is actually they actually support it. I don't know, a contributor. That's the right word. They're a contributor to race flight, and he raves about it all the time. But like for me, like I don't need to be trendy. I don't need to be like the first one to do that. I think when the F4 boards come out and they're prevalent and they don't cost like $80,
right?
I will try it.
Yeah.
But until
we're not there yet either. Yeah. What about you, Alvin? You guys into it? As he goes and picks something
F4 prototype. I can't show it to you, but I can tell you it's a major manufacturer. And when it hits the market, I'm telling you right now, it's running $32K, and it's holding. And it held yesterday after I hit that.
Really?
Yeah. I mean, it's solid, dude. I'm like, I've like I said, I've hit stuff pretty hard on that board, and it's holding up, and its performance is epic. And there's a few boards on the market that I must recommend, and one is the Furious board, which is I had something to do with the whole setup of the micro board, the 20 by 20 millimeter footprint. And then this board, I didn't have nothing to do with that, but I'm a tester for the company, and when I can tell you what it is, I'm going to rave about it. I'm telling you right now, this is something that, and I can tell you that you're going to be ecstatic too, Benny, because it's something that you will carry in your shop.
Yeah, I mean, I've heard it's coming and everything, but it's not out yet. But I absolutely, we'll definitely carry it when it comes out because I'm sure things will be converted.
You with all that stuff you got in there, you will have no choice.
Yeah, big thing now with our guys is our guys converting over to diversity setups.
Definitely.
I have on order the Furious FPV True Diversity. I have that Furious.
Yeah,
a lot of our guys have.
True D.
Yeah, a lot of our guys have the LaForge set up. I just don't want to go through, have a base station and all that. Some of our guys have the base station stuff, but I like the aspect of having it all right there in your goggles,
Well, you notice that there's that LaForge is a great thing. There's some issues with it, right? And it's how it plugs in. I know two of my buddies that had to send their Fat Sharks back in to get it repaired because of something to do with that little cable or something. But moving the stuff in and out, you know what I mean?
Yeah.
You're not that's hey, look, if you buy a set of LaForges, right, and you put them in, you don't take them back out. It's supposed to go in and not be moved around. That there's some parts of your goggles that are really, really sensitive to movement, and the more you move them, the more chances that you will break it.
Yeah,
and so
that's why I waited for the Furious because everything's right there. It doesn't have that cable across, so that's why. And I've heard good things about it. We'll see.
Let me know. I don't have goggles that will fit in right now.
Yeah,
and that's coming. But and I'm not involved in that department, the goggle department, even though I was trying to get in.
Hey, give me some goggles. Expensive.
We have everything here. We have the head plays with the diversity. Mm-hmm. I use the HD, the Dominator HDs. We have the Dom 3s. We have the new Spectrum Diversity goggles.
The focals.
So, but predominantly we sell the Dom 3s. That's what we're getting. We go through those a lot. But I have the head plays too. And I just couldn't get over the size of the screen to me. With the head plays, I use them every now and then, but just the clunkiness, and I just couldn't get over the size of the screen. So
I have my quantums. I love that they just work. You know what I mean? It just works. You can count on them that every time I plug them in, they work. Right. The problem is that what I've been finding out is that they're fine for short flights for me, but the headset is starting to become an issue, like if I don't find myself sitting like this, right? If I'm not leaning back in a chair with a pillow up underneath my back, to give me that angle, then I'm like this and doing this, so, and that a lot of guys don't realize that affects their flying, because a lot of guys sit down and they put their head down like this, and they don't realize that the antenna, when they were sitting like this, it was perfect, right?
Yep.
As soon as they put their head down, now they like this.
Yep.
Right? And they're going, well, how come
I'm
having issues in that right corner on the second turn,
Yep.
It's because, hold on, wait a minute, let me move the antenna just a little bit. Oh, there you go. Yep. And it's gone. So placement and stuff like that, like I got this. I'm borrowing a set right now, but I got this set up right
that's
here.
That's what we sell. We have the patch.
This rocks.
Yep.
This setup rocks right here. Totally. I was 1.5 miles out on this yesterday.
It's the same setup. It's the same setup I get.
And I had no issues.
Yep.
Like me and another guy was flying. He was flying with a pepper box and a Cyclone.
Yep.
And we're both right side, right, RCHP. And we both were flying, and he was running only 200, and I was running 600, and we were flying within 100 yards of each other, less than 100 yards. And well, I could see him really good in my video. Anyway, but like I almost ran into him.
Didn't have it.
Anyway, but no issues, no video issues, no reception problems out at a mile. We were having a great flight. So I think that is a great setup, a patch and an Omni or a pepper box and an Omni. I'm not a fan of helicals right now.
Yeah, I'm not either. A lot of people kind of mention them, but there's really no one in our group that really has them either.
I mean, if you got like a three turn helical, that's productive. But still, that little patch will blow that helical away.
I love the patch. We sell
for field of view, right? For wideness of view.
Yeah.
You can fly all over where, with a helical, even a three turn, you're going to be turning your head for every 90 degrees, right? So you might be facing this way, and you can fly over here. And then as soon as you get here, you that's going to cover this area, and you're going to minimize your outside edges. So a lot of guys don't understand that, and they're just buying stuff to be buying it, right? I have a large patch too. I made that mistake.
Yeah, I'm sold on the small 8 dB patch and the ES.
13 dB works great, but it sucks for distance. You get way out there and you're like, I can only go here.
It gets behind you, forget it.
Yeah, done.
Yeah.
But other than that, that's what I'm looking at race flight and we've been running race flight. I'm actually on the support team for that. And as a tester, which is what I like doing.
What's the time frame, if you can say, of when you think there's going to be more of a massive rollout?
I think you're looking at before the end of summer, there'll be 2 more F4s out.
Yeah,
I'm pretty sure of it. I'm sure Furious will we will have our board out. I'm not sure if the full size board is going to be an F4. The first one, because what we're doing is we're integrating the DTF UHF, right, group made a flight controller, right?
Yeah.
And that's all in one, and it's working. We're coming at it from a different view. So, we're planning on being able to run 100 amps, 120 amps through the flight controller. That's a lot of power. So, and we're dealing with a lot of guys that have gone that route are dealing with noise. High frequency noise at that high. You got switching MOSFETs and all that, and InFETs, and they can amplify a noisy signal, right? I mean, they can catch a signal and amplify it somewhere else. So, those are the things that's going on right now, but. We're looking at we're getting good signals right now with ours. So we just want to make sure that they go through a couple of production versions before we unleash one to the public, because
we'll definitely get them in as soon as we're able to get them in, and we'll throw them in a build and we'll do a live.
Yeah, I'm excited, man. I'm telling you, it's this market is changing for the better, and things are getting better and easier to do, and soon, there's a that soon you'll be able to enter your quad size and tell it what type of Agilis you want, and it'll set itself.
Hey, I'm waiting for that day.
Yeah, it's coming. It's coming.
You know what, Benny? This is one thing that I'll say right now. Since you're good in front of the camera, you need to start your own YouTube channel. You got like the best hobby shop behind you. You might as well use it. Make some videos, man. Okay, so back on track. I told you there's going to be more than one question. I didn't I tell you? But like, are you planning on having I know you're having your multi-GB group and you're doing well with that. Are you actually planning on hosting any events in Cincinnati? Either now or in the future?
Yeah. that's what we're going to try to build up to. I think one of the things that we wanted to do, with the core group of 3 to 5 guys that are really heavily involved, that have helped us out a lot with it, is hone our skills and get good at the events and try different things and really get down on conducting a race and kind of learning through that. We're not there yet. We're going to be there though. That's why we do it like every 2 weeks, and we try to institute it, and we go to different races and we pick up tidbits from there. But the goal would be, without a doubt, I think probably not this season, but next season, is to actually sponsor a race. Being a hobby shop here, is a good, and we're, Ohio, we're close. And we got Buddy RC, you got Ready Made RC, it's, in Columbus, things are, it's not too far away, but, we got a good avenue here to sponsor and to actually hold a true official event. That's where I'd like to do. That's where I'd like to go. And I think we have the right team in place and the right group that I think we can get there. I think it's just the main thing is if we can keep the enrollment up, which I have no worries, it's growing like crazy in the events. If we can keep 20 to 40 people coming to these events, I mean, that's a good user base to really learn from and institute real races and how things go. And we get really a good system down relative to that, then absolutely we're gonna hold some races. We'll get on the different avenues to really publicize that and get it out there to the word, to people to know that's going to happen, so we can get, try to recruit top pilots to come into it and everything like that,
Right.
That's a draw. You bring in the top pilots come into it, or the rotor riots and stuff like that. I mean, that brings out a flock of people,
It does. It does help. Yeah, because there's one thing that I'm hoping to see, like in 2017, maybe not 16, is to have like a bunch of cities that are close to us, like Cincy's close to us, Cincinnati, Indianapolis. They have a bunch of well-organized groups, flying groups, and then like to have like city on city,
we've already
tournaments.
Talked about. Yep.
So like that's part of the reason why I do this, is like I'm trying to get everybody organized so that we could actually have like it's like it feels like a sport.
I think we're gonna. Don't you think we're gonna get there? I think 2017
so. Battle of the the Tri-City Finals.
I think it will happen, because I mean you got you guys, the Indy guys, the Cleveland guys. I mean, there's a lot of guys within this area within a 200-mile span or so that. I think it would be a really cool thing, and I think everyone talks, so it's a great group of guys and stuff. And hey, why not? That would be super cool to do.
Yeah, because I want to see like Louisville versus Cincinnati and Cincinnati versus Indianapolis, and then like we'll just break it down and see who's the best city.
Exactly.
I'm WK and Cincinnati.
That would be awesome.
Yeah, so that's my hope for 2017, anyways. And
I agree with you.
Would be cool. It would be cool. All right, it's been an hour and a half. Elvin, are you out of questions? I know you're never out of questions. I shouldn't ask that.
It was great talking to you, Ben.
No, great. Thank you guys so much. This is awesome. Like anything we can do to further the sport and meeting great people like you guys with an avenue and a forum to spread the word. I'm all about that, and that's one of the things that I kind of bring to the table with our group and stuff. And I think people are seeing that. I'm definitely not the best pilot. We have got pilots that are exceptional pilots in our group, which is awesome. I bring another aspect to it that'll help. But I think
a much needed aspect,
right? But it's just a great thing. I mean, it really is, and you guys definitely stay in touch with us and. Any event that we have, you guys are welcome to come or welcome to tell other people. One of the things I will mention that's kind of in the infancy stages is they have the Drone Racing League is already announced that they're coming out with a big event in September out in Cincinnati, and they're going to fly in one of the abandoned paper mills that we have. So I've kind of reached out to them to maybe put a filler to say, hey, wouldn't it be a really cool story to have a couple local pilots have a spot in there, because their top pilots are going to be at this one. So we're kind of in the discussion phase of that. And if we kind of get the green light relative to something like that, then we'd probably, I'd probably open it up and be like more of like, a Dayton, a Louisville, and kind of have a more of a tri-state type of situation. And I'm sure it will bring out a lot of people, but, definitely the coordination and kicking an event off would have to have like a qualifying type event, and the top 2 to 3 pilots, would make it onto the race in the Drone Racing League. So,
hey, you know what? If if you get to the point where you do that, definitely I would help you organize that and help you run that. No problem.
Absolutely,
And
we'll need it. Yeah,
it would be that would be really awesome. You know.
Yeah,
It's
well,
like,
let's stay in touch on that for sure because I'm pushing hard on that one.
cool. All right, Benny. For anybody who wants to talk to you, get to know you better, have ideas that they want to throw at you, where can they find you?
Cincinnati Quad Racers Facebook page. Come out and like us. Follow. We have a great group of guys. You can contact me. You can friend me on Facebook. Hobby Express out of Milford, Ward's Corner Road out of Milford. Come and see us at Hobby Express. Great group of guys. We've really tied affiliations with Cincinnati Quad Racers. Everyone's in here. You come in here within any day, you're probably going to see 3 or 4 of us in here messing around, buying stuff and whatever. So those are the 2 avenues to get a hold of us. And we're around. We're here to help.
Okay, cool.
Yeah,
All
yeah.
right. Appreciate
Great, guys.
you. Yeah, appreciate you coming on, and we're going to wrap up.
All right. Thanks so much for having me.
Okay, have a good one, man.